Hello, dear children. I have just floated in after rescuing a burning orphanage. I then proceeded to save a puppy from a tree, and then gave a homeless man my entire life savings.
An old lady fell down the stairs, and I laughed.
I slapped a little girl, dude. I saw a homeless man in the street, and I peed on him.
I burned down a church. Hey yo, I popped a cap in this disabled kid, innit? Then I nicked his wheelchair, bruv.
I donated my millions to all of the local charities. And then I retracted it from the assholes.
Bless you, lost children. Let us help you stop your life of crimes. Men everywhere need our help to stop being these barbaric creatures. Together, we can rescue them from these horrid actions. Please, men, join us. Join us in becoming truly wholesome and angelic beings.
How many of these are there?
I don't know.
In June 2019, it was announced by Blumhouse CEO Jason Blum that another Black Christmas was now in the works, because apparently one nonsensical, cringe-inducing, incestuous pile of crap wasn't enough.
This Brian Huntley guy abducted your friend and is pretending to be the dead founder of Hawthorne College.
So you're telling me you think the DKO boys possessed their pledges in some supernatural hazing ritual?
Sophia Takal was brought in as director after working for the studio on the Hulu series Into the Dark, admitting that she wanted to make this movie as feminist as she possibly could.
What? Well, she hid it so well.
Are you sure you're cool with us doing it?
The original had feminist traits in there, but were left subtle and simple, whereas Sophia wanted to explore them further and make them more obvious.
Because fuck subtlety, I guess.
You can't swear.
Why not?
Because you're a girl.
You son of a...
Whether they like it or not.
This is the first version of this story in which original creator Bob Clark had absolutely no involvement in, as he had sadly passed away back in 2007. Yeah, he made a lucky escape.
But unlike the previous two, this one was actually rated PG-13, an attempt by Takal to bring in new audiences, especially young women who were interested in horror and potentially could relate to major issues like sexual assault. But she was willing to concede and accept an R rating if the MPAA fought against it.
Nope, it's fine, I get it.
Despite the lower rating, however, she still insisted on not toning down the blood and gore, still wanting it as violent as the previous films. However, even before the movie came out, it received backlash. The movie's own trailer was heavily criticised due to the sheer amount of spoilers in it. Isn't that just any trailer ever nowadays?
Are you kidding me? Filming began on June 23rd of 2019 and wrapped 27 days later, before Black Christmas 2019 was released on December 13th, but didn't really meet expectations at the box office.
In its opening weekend, it only earned $1.8 million, despite being shown on 2,625 screens. But subsequently, it only continued, ending its entire run with $10.4 million in the US against a budget of $5 million, making a worldwide total of only $18.5 million.
But surprisingly, despite the internet's crazy hatred for the film now, when it came out, reviews were actually mixed to positive. People found it not as good as the original, but certainly superior to the 2006 version.
Explosive diarrhea combined with kidney stones is certainly superior to the 2006 version.
I was your Secret Santa, and I got the perfect Lindsay gift.
A terrible remake of a terrible remake.
That's it?
Though a popular consensus was that the film runs out of steam towards the end and ruins any potential it previously had. Whereas now it is far more hated than its predecessor, mainly for its forced narrative and pro-feminist story.
Well, I'm not surprised.
This is a film so bad that when I reviewed the other two last year, I got criticism for not doing this one. Even being called a coward. A film so bad, it supposedly makes the '06 version look like the original. A film so bad, even the opening marketing guy sounds terrified before it plays. A film so bad, during the opening credits they play the screams of the movie's victims. A film so bad... Okay, it's not actually that bad.
What?
All this hype and flack that I got, it's really not as bad as the '06 version. It's nowhere near, it's not even close.
Oh, well, kinda disappointing.
Yep.
I am such an idiot.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not good. Of course the feminist stuff is overkill. Every male character in this film is a douchebag, including the damn security guards.
Now you'll never need a man.
Men, bonding together, invented culture as a defense against female nature.
He was into the dark arts and shit. I read he, killed disobedient women in ritual sacrifices.
We're going skiing together. Don't worry. It's consensual. You bitches are all the same.
You're willing to accuse Huntley of locking your friend in his basement, but you're sure that this guy that you just met has nothing to do with it.
Just ignore them. They are boys with heavy testicles.
Hawthorne foresaw the threat posed by women.
You're all insane.
No, not insane, Miss Stone. Simply men.
Look, we can sit here and make a list of all the guys that want to kill us.
Well, according to you, it's all of them. A rapist even blames the victim for him not getting to rape her.
The main character is a girl called Riley, played by Imogene Poots, and she's a member of a sorority house. She's struggling with demons as a local asshole named Brian raped her, but nobody believes her.
So I understand Riley having disdain and a lack of trust for men, and in a way I can even accept her friend sharing the same viewpoint. That's not my issue. Now sure, it's beyond irritating when almost any line of dialogue is FYI, men are douchebags, just in case you forgot. We hate men, but I get it, and that's fine for those characters' motivations, but the movie itself portrays almost every single dude as a rapist.
I guess I got it.
You're in the middle of something.
Neglectful.
Babe, can you help me a little bit? Since when do you drink beer?
I like beer.
Or just a prick. The only exception is a guy called Landon, played by Caleb Eberhard. Some nerdy guy who befriends Riley and she begins to take a liking to, but they never explore this. Even when he's introduced, the girl seems somewhat surprised that they actually got to meet someone with testicles who isn't an asshole. But they never go further with it. They never acknowledge, what? He's nice? But he has a willy. He's hanging between his legs. This is a genius scientific discovery. Someone get Darwin on the phone.
No.
The story just falls flat when the male characters are all portrayed as evil. And even with Landon, the movie depicts men so negatively that you're constantly wondering if he's the killer. But there's actually a scene where neglectful boyfriend defends the rapist. Now the thing is, on the surface, this guy actually does have a very solid and valid point.
If a bunch of frat bros had gotten up and sang a song about how, I don't know, women were just bimbos who like to show off their tits, then yeah, you'd be livid.
It's a little different, Smash.
How? Why are you allowed to say all this shit about men and we're supposed to just sit here and take it?
Because men have all the power.
This could have been a really interesting moment, but they don't capitalize on it. Earlier in the film, Riley struggles to perform a song because her rapist is in the room, and she eventually gathers up the courage to sing it anyway, and she outs him. And I will admit, this is a really kick-ass moment.
I didn't lead you on for goodness sake. I couldn't have 'cause I wasn't awake.
So neglectful boyfriend insults them for outing the rapist, but they never once point out that their feminist attitude is different on this occasion because Brian actually is a rapist. Not once is it brought up, so they don't even use this conflict correctly. Just like the director doesn't seem to understand what the word feminist means. Feminism means equality. It doesn't mean supremacy. Just letting you know. I'm sorry who hurt you, Sophia. I'm sorry. Do you want to lie down on my therapist couch so we can talk about it? I'm sorry you met a guy who was an asshole.
Seriously.
And I'd like to clarify, I'm not doing this whole hashtag not all men, because yes, men are animals, men are creeps, and I completely sympathise with women who struggle and they have to be careful walking home alone. They shouldn't have to. But this movie doesn't explore that. This one woman was raped and it was awful, but now every other man in this film is portrayed as Ted Bundy. If you got a pair of knackers between your legs, you are Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, Dave down the road in the office, he seems nice. Nope, that's Adolf Hitler's grandson. And I hate to use the term woke, but my God, it's what this film is. Just 15 minutes in and they mention feminism, misogyny, trans, racism, you name it.
Because he went totally crazy on me when all I did was ask why his syllabus has no women on it, queer people on it, trans people on it, people of color on it. Calvin Hawthorne was a racist and a sexist. He owns slaves.
I mean, the opening scene alone is better than anything in the 06 version. They update the technology so the characters get text messages instead of phone calls, which I do think is actually a bit creepier.
Yeah, the opening does have its moments, and this is pretty damn creepy, even if they ruin the twist in the first 70 seconds.
Even if the killer apparently is the fastest texter in the entire world. And this movie really loves a good fake out. They have like 2 or 3 in the span of 60 seconds. And yeah, this girl is being stalked by an evil, evil man, and she decides to call her friend at a party, and not the fucking police! But men are the dumb ones.
Why are they copying stuff from the 2006 remake? You're supposed to be doing something different, you know.
Oh my god.
But apparently this killer is Batman. He's able to somehow vanish in a thin air. The whole opening is alright, but it's such a copy and paste job. She runs to her house, nobody is there, killer shows up, killer disappears, she runs to her house, nobody is there, killer shows up, and ruins the twist later on in the film straight away.
What? There's multiple killers?
Good job.
Wow.
Are you sure?
And why doesn't the stupid bitch run away? She just stands there. And then just lies there making snow angels like a dumbass. I'm glad she gets stabbed by an icicle.
There's a sentence I didn't think I'd hear today. But then I swear to God, if this cat dies...
Then the film would redeem itself.
What?
But want to hear some of the laziest foreshadowing ever?
You're killing me.
It's just lazy foreshadowing. Who would ever say those words when a cat lands on you? Ah! Oh my god, it's gonna decapitate me! This movie has so much potential. There's a Santa ornament that plays music based on motion. Smells like more foreshadowing. Of course it comes into play. It's so obvious, but they don't even use it creatively. It could have been really effective if a character was hiding and it's all silent and then they hear the Santa ornament showing that the killer is near, but it's never done!
The Riley character is a lot of fun, I will admit. And she has my humor, so I do like this girl.
Is it bad we're calling it Orphan's Dinner? Since you're...
Wait, my parents are dead?
I'm kidding. You can totally call it the orphan's dinner.
To be fair, I like her too. There's a lot of sympathy behind the character, and although it may seem a cheap way to get that sympathy, it works and the performance is great. Just stop making every single male a damn rapist!
What's the worst that can happen?
Even when she gets on stage to perform the song, she comes face to face with Brian, and it's really emotional. She's torn between her trauma and from attempting to move on and succeed just to spite the piece of shit.
I actually do like this scene. It's a female empowerment scene that actually works because Riley is exposing her assaulter on stage after getting over her fear of seeing him again, and I really like her finally taking control and saying, fuck this bullshit, they deserve to know.
But weirdly, someone records the performance and posts it online, and Riley gets all upset that it's gone viral. Not because of the song, but because afterwards she was also recorded accusing Brian of raping her. But the song also accuses Brian of raping her. The song's fine where she says, Brian raped me. But she doesn't like the bit afterwards where she says, Brian raped me.
Something feminism.
What?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the acting is actually incredible.
It's for the cause.
But I did everything that I was supposed to.
Except for that, you should be running for your life. Cool kill though.
One thing I will credit the film for is the acting. All across the board, it's fantastic.
Ladies, we've got errands to run.
Acting classes to get to. Alright, that was the only one. But this security guy's reaction to a murder is fucking hilarious.
911 attack at Hawthorne College.
What?
And I will admit, it's at least shot really well. The cinematography is pretty good. But then sometimes it's ruined by the editing. Was the editor on crack? There's a lot of weird editing throughout the film. What's going on here?
You can keep it. I never wear it anymore.
Christmas is a time for looking sexy.
No, Christmas is a time of year where you stay inside the entire season to fill yourself up with
alcohol,
holiday desserts, and watch Christmas movies. Not dressing up as some women tend to do despite it being negative 75 degrees outside.
It's winter break.
Carrie Elwes, of all people, plays another evil, evil man, apparently not learning his lesson from Saw 7. But what the hell accent is he trying to do?
Sky Cult was the most sophisticated step in this process. For its switch of the creative locus from earth to sky is a shift from belly magic to head magic.
I am definitely the bad guy of this film.
I hope you don't mind my saying so, but a few of the boys did confide in me that the prank Mukappa played last night went a little bit too far.
It's like he's attempting to use his real one, but then accidentally shifts back into American, maybe as a force of habit. It is quite cute as Riley likes him, though, I can't lie.
How come you've never talked to me before?
I mean, you and your friend's strong disdain for men might have something to do with it.
Yeah, I can't lie, they are adorable together.
They are really cute together and have some decent chemistry. And no, it doesn't even turn out that he's the douchebag in the end, so fair play. At least one dude got to be a good guy, I guess. But am I the only one wondering how the hell he isn't freezing his nuts off right now? He's only wearing a jumper in a snowy December. Ah, but I forgot. Men are all cold-hearted, so therefore he's fine. We walk past schools and spit on children. Then we set fires to nunneries and pee on the graves of the deceased.
Merry Christmas to you all.
That's the problem. Other than Riley and Landon, there's no reason to care about anyone else surviving. Every other character is either undeveloped or just an unlikable dickhead.
What about an undeveloped unlikable dickhead?
What?
What?
Something doesn't feel right.
I mean, other than these two, this is the only character where I would actually care if she dies. And I don't even know her damn name!
Brian,
Wait, back up. Hold on. You're getting weird DMs?
Yeah.
So am I.
The fact that this movie is trying to be it, but with DMs, is just so funny. A serial killer's on my Snapchat.
Oh dear.
And the film does have a funny moment here or there.
Jesse, what do you think?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. What am I supposed to say?
I'm so sorry. You were right. I should have been fighting this whole time. Now's not really the time for I told you so.
But how the hell do they not see Riley here? And it does have a couple of good scares.
There are some nice editing choices, empty shots of the corridor to rip off Halloween, ironic when Halloween started by ripping this off, with her voice echoing off the walls before the obvious jump scare. This is a really cool kill and everything, but she was just in this room. How the hell did she not see him? Where was he hiding?
And it's just a rip-off of the exact same shot in The Exorcist 3.
There's a scene where Riley gets a creepy text and then bumps into Landon nearby, and the way she looks at him has completely changed now as she suspects that he is the killer. It's such a great performance, despite them clearly trying desperately to be Scream.
Hello? Anyone there?
You should never say who's there. Don't you watch scary movies? It's a death wish.
Even directly copying their exact shots! And the twist that there's multiple killers. But I am sorry, I am never taking a serial killer carrying a fucking bow and arrow seriously. Got fucking Robin Hood over here.
And where's the first place you run to after someone starts shooting arrows at you? Up the stairs, of course!
Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
And they do another fake out where the security guard ends up going to the wrong house because why not rip off Silence of the Lambs and Saw 2 while we're at it? Even the villain's monologue sounds like any of the monologues from the Scream films. Take your pick!
Upon graduation, our army will venture into courtrooms, boardrooms, and the halls of Congress to set the world right.
And where the movie lost a lot of people, including myself, is here. I mean, the last time I saw a cult, the killer impregnated his damn niece. Don't get me started. For the first hour, it's just a generic slasher film. It's harmless. On one hand, I'm glad they removed the stupid incestuous backstory, but on the other hand, there's nothing unique or special about it.
Even when they try to go back to the roots of the original with one creepy phone call, it's just another fake out and not even that creepy.
Looks like Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Wish. The douchebag boyfriend does get an arrow in the eye, which is pretty cool. And while everyone else gets instantly killed, Riley doesn't. For some reason, they want to just mess with her. Although it is pretty creepy as she gets a kiss under the mistletoe. These characters are all dumb as shit. The killer clearly only closed the door and pretended to leave the room. How the hell do they fall for this?
And it never works. They already tried it in the Friday the 13th films and it failed then.
It is a pretty cool shot though, and there's no music, so it makes it creepier. The film is also so dumb that it's even got me questioning if the security guard is in on it. I mean, he's got a dick, so maybe he started this whole thing. It's also treated as a big shocking reveal that the guy we literally saw earlier perform a satanic ritual is evil. What? Well, this is out of the question. The next thing you're going to tell me is that Adolf Hitler is particularly nasty.
Why isn't it blood?
So, why was there no blood? Does the ritual drain their blood? Oh, who cares?
You saw his blood?
And despite killing multiple killers, another shows up. How many are there?
36. Counted them myself.
It's a good thing they have terrible aim, though.
Go! 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 Go!
What are you doing? Just Just reverse into the prick! This is where it lost everyone. It was a generic slasher film and was harmless enough and not very creative, but then it randomly turns into this cult bollocks and it's just stupid. They even try to justify their actions.
Tired of seeing ourselves falsely accused.
Well, one, you have not portrayed that at all. This could have actually been really interesting if they spent the whole movie showing men as genuinely being innocent and then they are genuinely falsely accused, so they get pissed off and they start this whole cult thing. It'd still be dumb, but it might be a little bit interesting, but no, you've been weird rapists the whole movie. And two, you don't want to be accused of rape, so you murder. Say that again, slowly.
You see, you were given a chance. You were taught how to grow into a proper woman, but you refused to listen.
He practically just admitted to raping her, and then denies it.
You dragged my name through the mud. You lied about what happened.
This movie sucks! They even attempt to do a Saw-like flashback too. Is there anything original in this?
It's so much easier this way.
You are
I swear to God, if she says the word monster,
traitor!
Still a shit line, but marginally better, I suppose. Her mate does betray her to save her own skin, but is then brutally murdered right in front of Riley, which is pretty sick because men are evil, remember? Did you remember? Men are evil, don't forget men are evil, men suck! And I have to admit, this movie does something better than Avengers Endgame.
What?
Remember the female empowerment scene which made no goddamn sense? Well here, all the women show up to kick the men's asses and I can't lie. This is amazing. Black Christmas 2019 did something better than Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, despite the horrendous dialogue throughout the film and the really forced messages, this is badass.
There is quite an emotional scene as Riley is pinned down and begins having flashbacks to the rape. It's intense and you have so much sympathy and support for the character. She should definitely cut off his nuts though.
Hey, Professor. Suck my...
Suck your what? Suck your what? If you were going to say suck your dick, doesn't that kind of go against your feminist message saying suck my something that you don't actually have?
Well, in the original scene, which was filmed for the movie, she said, suck my clit. But in order to keep the PG-13 rating, the director had to cut it out.
But they still kept in the line suck my, and then it doesn't make any sense! Suck my clit would have been great though. Also, Landon gets hypnotised to join the evil cult so they can rip off Indiana Jones, but somehow he's the only one able to break out of the trance. Sure, I guess I'll credit the cinematography and choreography here. Fine, shut up. And it is quite funny to have this big dramatic ending of a building burning to the ground, only to cut to the happiest music ever for the closing credits.
But a very sudden end to the film. Just wish there was a bit of an aftermath moment, but...
This film sucks!
Yes, it does!
But nowhere near as bad as everyone else says.
Yeah.
The first hour is fine. It's just mindless shit. Generic slasher film. It's whatever. But when they introduce the cult stuff, that's where it drops to big sloppy dog poo. Overall, the film is a big nothing. Just feminist propaganda bollocks, but with spectacular acting performances. It's a shame because there are great ideas hidden in there, but we're just left with a big fuck you to the original.
It's not horrible, far from it. I wouldn't even call it one of the worst remakes since I could tell the director's heart was in the right place.
Was it? Just seemed like she had a bad breakup and then wrote a screenplay.
You made your point.
The execution was just off and it really shouldn't have been called Black Christmas. The acting is great.
I did everything that I was supposed to.
For the most part. And the cinematography is great. It's definitely one of the better made remakes out there. But my god, the editing is awful in so many ways. For a PG-13 slasher film, the kills aren't half bad, I'll give it that. But the worst part is easily the dialogue with so many forced messages being shoved down the audience's throat. As a remake, it's terrible, but as a standalone slasher, it's just okay. If the vibe of the film is up your alley, I'd recommend it. But if you're looking for a better remake to watch, I'd say look somewhere else. Is this 1080p 60? It doesn't look like it. Looks like... Is it?
You squeak a lot.